Hi, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in this video I'm going to show you the Ordinary Skincare Routine for 60+, which should help you to reduce fine lines and wrinkles, smoothen skin texture, fade pigmentation such as sunspots or even sun-damaged skin, and it should also hopefully help you to restore some of your skin elasticity and firmness. And so I have prepared for you everything in a PowerPoint, going with 2 morning skincare routines as well as 2 evening skincare routines, which you would use on alternate days to keep it simple as well as keep the focus on the skin concerns that I've just emphasized. Those skincare routines can be used on any skin type as well as skin color. It's all about your skin concerns, and I'm going to take the time to properly break it down so that you understand it. But if you want to get a copy of the PowerPoint, you want to recreate a routine at home, you will be able to get it. Check below this video in the description box, there you will find a link. Click on the link and then you can either just refresh your mind by going over the slides online, or you can click on the top right button and this is where it says download, and then either download it as the slides or entire PowerPoint and then use that one as a guide to set up your routine and to follow the specific frequencies, which I will get into in just a moment. And so I want to go over it step by step so that I can properly break it down and that you have an overall understanding of the way I have set it up. So as you can see right here, we are already in the PowerPoint, and we're going to get started with both morning skincare routines. The first one is going to keep the focus towards peptides. The other one is going to keep the focus towards hydration and antioxidants. But before we are getting started, I want to quickly remind you that I've picked different examples so that you have an idea of what products you can choose. And if you aren't sure which one you should pick based on the examples that I've included in the example routines, you will be able to find everything under the skincare product descriptions, which you will find below the example routines. And then there you can see all the products that I have listed. So when it comes to cleansers, hydrating serums, then the peptides, which may be a bit confusing which one you should pick, you can read it in your own time, and so on, so that you have a brief overview of what makes them different from one another, and then based on that you're going to pick the one that's going to suit your skin concerns and maybe based on the texture as well. Now, I'm not going to keep my focus on explaining the individual treatments because as I already mentioned, I've just emphasized for whom they are suitable and what they should help you to improve. I just want to go over the setup so that you understand the order of application and how you would then put this into practice. So let's get started again with the morning skincare routine, keeping the focus now on to peptides, since the Ordinary has 4 different peptide serums. So on the top corner you can see the time of use as well as days, because you would alternate between both morning skincare routines. So when working with the peptides, you would use it on Monday, Wednesday as well as Friday. And this is then the routine that you're going to follow step by step at home. Now, I want to quickly emphasize when it comes to the cleansing step, you can either wash your face with water or work with a regular cleanser, which may be the Ordinary Squalane cleanser or maybe another regular non-exfoliating acid cleanser that you have at home that works well for your skin type that you really like to use. Please avoid exfoliating acid cleansers, especially if they have a low pH. The Ordinary peptides, or peptides in general, do not like an acidic or low pH environment. So if you would use an exfoliating acid cleanser that has a low pH, once you have used it, it's going to lower the pH of the skin, and then when following with your peptide afterwards, it may influence the efficacy of the peptides. Therefore, you should avoid it so that you get most out of it. So therefore, if you aren't sure what regular cleanser you should pick, here are 2 examples that I can recommend. After your cleansing step, you're going to move on to one of the Ordinary peptide serums. I recommend going with one of them, maximum 2, and I'm going to quickly break it down just as like a side note next to it. But overall, they help you with hydration, plumbing effect, targeting fine lines and wrinkles, based on that they should help to restore some of the skin firmness and elasticity. They can sometimes be quite controversial based on how well they penetrate into the skin and therefore may not give you the effects that you may expect. However, since we're talking about a skincare routine for 60+, usually as we age, the skin gets much thinner, and therefore you're more likely to see great benefits when working with the peptide serums. This is why I have included them. So you have right here the ordinary Argiline solution as well as Matrixyl. You could theoretically use them together. However, when it comes to the ordinary multipeptide serum, also known as buffet or buffet copper peptides, I do not recommend using Argiline and Matrixyl with it because they already contain those like peptides. So if you just want to have a nice mix of everything, go either with buffet or buffet copper peptides, but you will find everything again in the descriptions like below the example routines. Once you have applied it to the skin, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off, and then give it about 1 to 2 minutes to absorb into the skin before heading into protecting the skin from the sun, like from the UVA and UVB rays. So this is important because you're trying to reduce your fine lines and wrinkles. You're working on your specific skin concerns, which if you're not going to follow with sun protection afterwards, if you have sun exposure, it's not going to make any sense. So therefore, sunscreen, if you're targeting aging concerns, is important because you want to make sure that your skin has time to work on it while you're protecting it on the other hand as well. Therefore, I went with the ordinary sunscreen or NIOD sunscreen. Both are great antioxidant sunscreens as well as properly protect the skin, but I want to emphasize that with the ordinary sunscreen, that one has a thick, creamier texture, it's a mineral sunscreen, and it leaves a white cast. The overall formulation feels great, but if you are trying to avoid a white cast, this isn't for you. Then you have on the other hand NIOD Survivor 30. It's also a mineral sunscreen, but it has a light tint and it's much thinner in texture. So I do want to emphasize it in case you want to look into them. And then apply it evenly all over to protect the skin if you have sun exposure. Now, if you now wonder, well, how should I use the products? How much do I need to use? You will be able to find everything down below. I have adjusted the guides based on the products that I have selected. Now, once you understand the peptide morning skincare routine, we are now going to head into the next morning skincare routine, which again focuses on hydration and antioxidants. And this is the morning routine that you're going to use on the days when not working with peptides. So on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and or Sunday. And this is then a routine that you can follow on those days in the morning. So I'm just going to skip the cleansing step. I have already explained it. So we are heading immediately into the next step, which is adding hydration to the skin. And there I went with the ordinary marine hyaluronics or the ordinary hyaluronic acid. Both of them are great. I suggest going with one of them. Marine hyaluronics has a very thin texture, absorbs extremely well and quickly into the skin, and is primarily to add hydration to the skin as well as restore the skin, like repair the skin. Whereas with the ordinary hyaluronic acid, that one also has a temporary plumbing effect. So if you're looking into that plumbing effect for your morning skincare routine, then you could go with that one, just as an example that you have something in mind. Apply either one of them on the skin, and then you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And then after that, we are going to follow on with an antioxidant serum. Now, the ordinary in total has 3 antioxidant serums, but I went with the one that also targets skin elasticity, which is the ordinary pycnogenol. And so once you have applied that one on the skin, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now, pycnogenol does not only help with skin elasticity, but also helps to fight free radicals, which can be caused due to the sun as well as pollution. So oxidative stress, which can create certain skin concerns. So if you're trying to get that one back into balance, you want to use an antioxidant before using your sunscreen, this could be a great example. And then again, after that, you're going to follow with sun protection so that you're going to protect the skin while targeting your aging concerns. And the general guide will be below. Now, you just saw with both morning example skincare routines how you can use them on alternate days. And this is what I suggest if you want to target all the skin concerns that I've mentioned in the very beginning. But of course, if you now say, well, 2 morning skincare routines are a bit too much for me, I want to go with one, this isn't wrong either. You could choose either one of them and then use that one daily in the morning. This is like a side note that you can do as well. But now let's head into the evening skincare routines. So again, the first one is going to keep the focus on exfoliating acids, whereas the second one is going to work with retinoids. So let's head into the first example, evening skincare routine with exfoliating acids, which again, right here you can see it's an evening skincare routine. And with the exfoliating acids, you would use it on Monday, Wednesday, as well as Friday, if your skin tolerates it. And here on the top, you have a brief explanation of what AHAs do, like alpha hydroxy acids, like glycolic, lactic, or mandelic acid, or BHA, which is salicylic acid, so that you have an idea and a brief understanding of what exfoliant you are going to pick. But you will find again a more detailed description below the example routines. So for the evening, what's important again to emphasize is your cleansing step. If you're just going to go with the ordinary squalane cleanser, that one is able to break everything down and take it off the skin, so excess oil, dirt, sweat, any sunscreen, any makeup, no issues. Same would apply to an oil cleanser. However, if you feel the need of doing a double cleanse, you can go ahead and do so. Use your oil or balm cleanser at first and then move on to your regular cleanser. Again, making sure that you're not using an exfoliating as a cleanser. Just use a regular cleanser that's suitable for your skin type, so that you can properly take off your sunscreen as well as makeup from the skin if you have worn it throughout the day. After your cleansing step, we are going to head into again hydration, as I've mentioned already for the morning skincare routine, going with marine hyaluronic or hyaluronic acid, apply to the skin, leave it on the skin, and then we are going to follow with one of the exfoliating acids. Just choose one of them. And again, you will find a description below if you should feel confused about it. But as a just brief little guide, the ordinary glycolic acid is the one that's the strongest. It has the smallest molecules, penetrates the fastest into the skin. So if you're being completely new to exfoliating acids and you aren't sure how well your skin is going to tolerate it, I wouldn't choose that one yet. Then you have lactic acid and mandelic acid, which are gentler AHAs, as well as salicylic acid if you have an oilier skin type. Whereas the other AHAs, glycolic or lactic acid, would be more suitable if you have a drier skin type. Nonetheless, you have the overall general guide of how much you need to use. Then once you have applied that one to the skin, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And then follow with a moisturizer to hydrate and protect the skin throughout the night. Now, using a moisturizer can be an optional step depending on your skin type. I do get that. If you have oily skin, you do not really feel the need of using a moisturizer at the end of your skincare routine, it's fine to skip it. However, if you want to protect and hydrate your skin, you want to restore your skin barrier, going with one that contains natural moisturizing factors, as I have emphasized in my examples right here, is a great pick. Now, when it comes to the second evening skincare routines, where we are going to keep an eye on retinol, retinoids, this is then what the routine would look like. And I want to quickly emphasize, again, you're going to follow that specific routine on days when not using the exfoliant. So on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and or Sunday. And again, as I just broken down the cleansing step for the evening, so you would do the same thing to make sure that you have a freshly washed and clean face. Then adding hydration to the skin, and then you're going to keep the focus towards your retinol or Granactive retinoid. Now, if you are feeling confused about what's a Granactive retinoid, what's a retinol, what's the difference, which one should I pick, I have everything for you below in the skincare description part, where you can properly break it down. But they have different strength. And I want to emphasize that in the beginning, if you're being new to them, start with the lowest strength. So either 2% of Granactive retinoid or 0.2% of retinol, and keep them in the fridge. That's really important, otherwise they can lose their efficacy quite quickly. And they should help you to reduce fine lines and wrinkles. So please make sure that you're going to choose the correct one for your specific needs. Then you're going to leave it on the skin, there's no need to wash it off. And then again, if you should feel the need, you can follow with a moisturizer afterwards. Although the ordinary Granactive retinoids as well as retinols, most of them except the one in emulsion, are in squalane, which may already feel hydrating enough and you do not feel the need of using a moisturizer. So again, it's completely fine to skip it if the retinol in squalane or Granactive retinoid in squalane is already hydrating enough. So then it would be an optional step, but you will be able to find everything down below. Now, again, if you want to combine both evening skincare routines, you would go with that specific frequency as I've mentioned right here. However, for whatever reason, you just find the need to go with an exfoliant because you're more targeting your skin texture as well as pigmentation rather than fine lines and wrinkles, that's completely fine. You can go with one of the evening skincare routines as well. And this is where I have adjusted the guide too. So when looking into the exfoliating acid routine, you can see below at the very bottom an overall general guide of how often you can use it throughout the week. You can use it up to daily if that's fine for your skin, but make sure to start off slowly. The same would apply to your retinol, Granactive retinoid. You have a specific frequency guide below so that you're not going to overdo it and do this like in steps, so that you're not going to irritate the skin when adjusting your skin to the specific treatments. Below the example routines, you will find more about retinol retinoids, more information about how they specifically work, if you can use them during pregnancy, and when do you need to use it with sunscreen. So sunscreen is only important to use in the morning. In the evening, there's no sunscreen needed. Below again, you have the skincare product descriptions where you can go over it in your own time. And then after that, you will find more about general skincare tips, like how you can do a patch test, which I highly recommend in the very beginning, as well as sunscreen information, so that you understand when it is important to wear sunscreen, understanding the labels of your sunscreen, as well as having an overall general guide of how you can properly apply it, as well as how you can take it off. But I do have such specific videos on my channel as well, which I can leave at the end of this video so that you can see the proper application and removal too. But this this is everything what you can't find in my PowerPoint. So I do hope that with all that information that I have covered all your questions. If you still have any further questions, feel free to ask and leave them below. But this is now where I want to sum it up, and I do hope that you enjoyed this video, that you find it helpful. If you did so, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well as share it, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye.